Hi, everybody. So today we are going to talk about how to build a cinch pouch. A couple videos ago, Tyson and I chatted with you guys about different sewing projects and different ways to do different things, and a lot of stuff to do with fabric and sewing and all of that. So today we're going to do a very quick basic tutorial on a cinch pouch. And I am a huge fan of using remnant pieces, which are just extra fabric pieces from scraps from different projects. So I'm just starting with this piece. We have this lovely black piece with some fun embroidery on it. And we're going to use this to build our cinch pouch. So I'm probably not going to talk a whole lot while I'm sewing. So we're just going to get into it.
Yeah.
So we have just everything is kind of in the middle so this knob here controls these things here, which is the type of stitch that you're doing. So all of these in your ones are going to be your buttonholes. Your 2 through 5 is going to be zigzags. 6 has a wide variety of straight stitches. 7 is a straight stitch, but it's more of a zipper stitch because it's to one side. And then 8, 9, and 10 are variations on zigzags, but they are for specific types of, usually more for like, if you're doing the like elastics. So you would want something more like these for elastics. And then this knob here controls the tension on your bobbin, which in this machine is down here. So it just depends on what type of machine you have as to where some machines have a bobbin that goes through here, some have a bobbin that goes through the top under the plate. But this one goes in there. So that's what we've got there. And we've got our thread all set up and ready to go. So what we're going to be doing first is we're going to create the seam down the side of one half, and then the seam down the side for the other half, and then we'll do the opening at the top, and I'll show you guys how to do all of it. So I don't need pins for this because it's just a straight stitch, and it's just a very easy, pull that down in, and then go in a little bit, and then if you have a reverse knob on your machine, most machines have a reverse knob, so you push that down and it takes it backwards and then forwards again. Okay, and then when you get to about that first part of your finger away, reverse it again and be done. Because this is what we're going to use to create our cinch pull, so we don't want to stitch that. Cut this. And then I am a big fan of trimming as you go so that we don't have to deal with a bunch of random strings at the end. And then we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Got a little bit of funky overlap, so we're just going to readjust it and get it going again. And this is something that will happen if you're using scrap fabric, is occasionally you will have some funky edges that don't line up 100%, so you just line it back up as you go. Pull that up. Alright, so at the top here, we've got both sides are about equal. So what we're going to do is you're just going to take that little top piece and you're just going to fold it over a tiny little bit, just a tiny little bit here, just like that. and we're just going to run a little stitch along this that 1 to 2 inches so that we don't have a raw edge when we pull our rope or ribbon through. So we're just going to stick that right down in there, and we'll do both sides. I'll leave that down in. I'm going to get this up here so that we have both sides, and they can, I got to make sure we don't get that underneath part so that we don't accidentally stitch it to itself. And put that back down. And then we're going to run straight across it here so that it doesn't pull down and rip open the seam that we did before. Get back over here just a little bit. Oop. Turn it. And then just run that right back up. Okay. Okay. And then we have on the outside, this one's for me, so it's not super pretty, but you have your nice little seam, and with your bottom little tag so that it doesn't rip as you pull, and you can pull on it and it's not going to rip it open. Just cut off my extra strings. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. This one went a little bit smoother, which I'm so incredibly grateful for. Leave that down in, turn it back again, and then right back up. Okay. All right, so now we have both of our sides prepped, or this side and this side, and now all you gotta do is take it and you do a small fold and then a slightly bigger fold down to meet the bottom where you just stitched that to right here, and it creates that nice little cavity that you can slide a ribbon or a rope through, and then you just stitch it straight across. So this one I am going to pin because it's a little longer. And then that one right in the middle as well. And part of the reason that we're pinning the longer ones is not only so that we try to get an even straight stitch, but also so that we don't accidentally stitch into the other side, because you want to have that stay open. So if you pin this, it makes it easier to sew your seam without accidentally sewing the two together. And the joy of having this part of the machine here is that you can actually loop this around so that you're going around it instead of having to worry about, oh, am I accidentally sewing this side to this side? Okay. And then we just carefully do our stitches. Okay. And I keep doing this and I didn't explain it. So every time you pause your sewing, you want to make sure that your needle is down into your fabric, because when you're fiddling with your needles, or if you have to adjust this at all, if your needle's not down in, your fabric can move and then your line gets off. So you want to make sure every time you pause that you roll your needle down into your fabric. Okay, and then we continue. Okay, pull my extra pin. And I'm going to keep right on there. Okay, and then we're getting close to the end. So we're just double check, make sure that everything is lined up the way we want it, and then you can go ahead and finish it on out. And sometimes you have to hand roll that last stitch or two so that you don't accidentally go too far. Okay. Clip our strings again. And then this side has a very nice hem all the way across with a nice little space from one end to the other to run our ribbon through. So now I'm going to go ahead and just do the other side, and then we'll rope it up. And that, my friends, is a very quick and easy cinch pouch. Then you flip it right side out, you poke your corners, and there you have a pouch. And then we're going to flip this off real quick, we'll pull out our ribbon, and then we'll run our line. Let's use this one. You know what? If we've got enough to run it twice, then we can do a double pull, which it looks like we do. So now the question is, do I know where my safety pin is? Okay, so because we're going to do a double pull, I just trimmed this so that we have two separate ones that are completely separate from one another. And I need to find a safety pin real quick, so give me just a second. Aha, there we go. Because I was not prepared for a safety pin. Okay, so now that we have our safety pin and our two ends of ribbon, what we're going to do is kind of zigzag the ribbon onto the safety pin. You want to do it 2 or 3 times so that you have a good amount on your safety pin. And we're just going to fish it through. And that's through one side. And we're going to flip it around and go through the other side. Okay. And now the trickiest part about doing, also you want to trim this off where your safety pin was. You want to trim that off because otherwise it's a little iffy. Okay, now as I was saying, the trickiest part about doing a double pull is making sure that you line up this ribbon with this ribbon without crossing ribbons. So if you take one and you pull it until you find your short one, that's your match. So you want to take and you want to tie those together. And you just get a little knot so that they stay together. You can tug on them, they're not going to pull apart. And then you also want to tie the other ones together. So you take these together and it's just a very simple, you loop it. Okay, where are we at? There we are. Okay, so you just loop it like that, and then you put those two through and pull it, and it's just a very simple knot. And you can tug on it, it's not going anywhere. But now you have 2 on this side, and you can separate them. If I can separate them. There we go. And you just turn one side around so that you have, we're getting tied. So you want to have this loop over here and this loop over here. And obviously the bag really wants to cinch because it doesn't want to, you've pulled them through together and so it doesn't want to necessarily go. But then you have your cinch. And then it's just a matter of playing with your ribbons to get them even on both sides, and you've got your pouch. And then you can put your phone or your wallet or whatever you want to have with you. If you happen to buy little trinkets, you can stick them in your little cinch pouch and just carry it along with you. And it's a pretty decent little size and just made out of scraps. So that was what we were working on today. Let us know if you have any questions about how to make them or where to find your pieces. All of it is, this was just random scraps that I had lying around the house. So thank you for hanging out with me for this quick little tutorial on how to build a cinch pouch. I hope it was informational. And if you have any more questions, please feel free to post them in the comments and I'll be happy to answer them. And I'm going to turn you to Tyson for a hot second.
Thank you so much for joining us for this. I know that it seemed really easy and really fast, and the wonderful part is it is just that easy and just that fast. So do not be afraid to jump into it. As you saw, we had some very basic equipment. It is stuff that you can find very easily and anyone can do it. So we hope that your history is as fun as our history. Do make sure to come on back with us next time as we take on another simple project to help you have a more enjoyable Ren Fair experience with some more age-appropriate attire. Huzzah!